Big relief today for Priya Pillai. The Delhi High Court today set aside the lookout circular issued against the Greenpeace activist, stating that her fundamental right to travel cannot be curtailed. Upholding her right to travel abroad, the court said that Priya Pillai has every right to hold a different opinion on development policies, and that cannot be the sole ground to restrict her movement. The court set aside the lookout circular issued by the Intelligence Bureau and asked the government to remove her name from the database containing names of individuals barred from leaving the country, and directed the Bureau of Immigration to expunge the endorsements made on the activist passport when she was offloaded from a flight on the 11th of January, when she was going to London to make a presentation before British MPs on alleged human rights violations in Madhya Pradesh. The next question I want to raise on the news today at 9. Should the government be apologizing to Priya Pillai for that travel ban? Joining me now is Priya Pillai herself, Greenpeace activist, and also joining me, GVL Narasimha Rao, national spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Narasimha Rao, do you want to use this program to apologize first to Priya Pillai? Say sorry that your government got this one horribly wrong?
I think that's a very, to me, it sounds like a silly question.
Why? Look at what the High Court has said. The High Court has very clearly said that your government, it has set aside the lookout notice. It has asked your government to expunge the offload endorsement from her passport, said she is free to air her views. You should not have offloaded her off the flight. Do you want to say sorry for the embarrassment that you caused her?
No, I think the larger issues, I think in this specific instance, the Delhi High Court has given a relief, certainly, but it's a Pyrrhic victory in that sense as I see it, because the larger questions and the larger issues that the government had in mind are still not addressed, and courts perhaps are not the right platform to address these concerns. And the real questions are, should there be, should Indian NGOs be going and presenting to foreign parliaments, speaking against India's development or India's story?
So you believe that question is still valid? You believe that question, that central question of whether NGOs should go abroad and speak against what you believe are India's national interests is still valid? Priya Pillai, first of all, are you feeling a sense of relief today?
Yes, I think it's a moment of victory, not just for me and Greenpeace, but for all the citizens, ordinary citizens of this country who believe in justice, you know, and to be delivered by, and who have huge and immense faith in the judiciary of this country. Mr. Rao said that courts are not the, it's not for the courts to decide what it is. I wonder, I'd really like to know from him which is the body in this country which stands above the courts to give a decision on such a matter.
But Mr. Rao is saying that the central question, Mr. Rao is still claiming that the central question remains that can you go to London, can you go to Parliament, to the British Parliament and speak about India's human rights records, raise issues which he believes are, which he sees as anti-national. Do you believe that he has a valid point at all left anymore after today's order?
It is my fundamental right. The court has upheld this decision. It's been upheld earlier also in Menka Gandhi's decision, wherein the court has held that, the right of a person to travel abroad, is enshrined in the constitution of this country. It is your fundamental right, the right to have an opinion, dissenting opinion in this country is your fundamental right, which has been upheld and reiterated today in this decision by the High Court today. So I don't know what Mr. Rao is speaking about. I think it's what this whole issue is about: freedom of expression and speech, the right to have a dissenting
You're
opinion
saying you have the right to dissent, but Mr. Rao, you want to quickly respond again to that, because you are saying that no one has the right to go, or you believe that there is a larger question of whether an individual can go abroad and question or criticize the government. Now, surely every individual has the right to dissent. We are not China, we are not North Korea, surely, Mr. Rao. Priya Pillai is not some terrorist that she has to be offloaded. You may disagree with her views, I may disagree with her views, but she has every right to express them.
Yes, every Indian certainly has a right to express their views.
Then why offload her off a plane?
Why
did you offload her off a plane? Which is why I'm saying why not apologize?
The question here is, you see, today's verdict itself shows that Indian institutions are very vibrant. Aren't there any Indian institutions that you can go and represent your case? That you have to go and defame your country before another country's parliament?
Mr. Rao,
I think that's the vital question.
Today's court verdict shows that the government cannot get away by deciding who is national and who is anti-national.
No, I think the real question is, Rajdeep, the court has really not commented on whether she can go before another country's parliament. Possibly the law does not prohibit anyone from doing it, but it raises many ethical and moral questions. When you claim that you are working for the welfare of the poor and the affected population, can you not really go to the institutions within your own country?
Okay, that's
there is a parliament, there are political parties, there is media. There are courts. There are any number of other vital institutions. Why do you need to speak?
You make a good point. Let's take that to Priya. Priya, this is a question which not Mr. Rao, others will also raise, that you could have protested through dharnas, fasts, marches, approached Indian courts at all levels, used the print and electronic media. Why do you need to go and depose before a foreign parliamentary forum? That's, I think, the larger point which Mr. Rao is still insisting on making despite today's court verdict.
Yeah, so Rajdeep, what I'd like to say on that point is that in the past 4.5 years that we've been working in Mahan, we have approached every institution. We've approached the Madhya Pradesh High Court, we've approached the National Green Tribunal, we've spoken to the ministries, to various departments, we've spoken to the local administration. With all this, till today we've not been able to file even an FIR on forgery that has been committed in obtaining consent, based on which the clearance has been given to the proposed mine. So it's not like we are not talking to the avenues that are available in this country, but that does not stop us from also going abroad and talking to the avenues or talking to various stakeholders beyond the boundaries of this country. Another thing that I want to say on this thing is that we are forgetting that SR is registered in London. What is the problem that the government has? If we are going to talk about the violations of SR, the human rights violations, the environmental violations that SR is committing in India, it's a company that's registered in foreign land. What is the problem with the government? Why are they trying to protect SR? What is the relationship between SR and the government? Why are they trying to protect the economic interests of a corporate who is trying to loot our resources, who is trying to pollute our environment?
That's one view versus, it is ultimately a view of your ideology, Priya, in a sense, which is what someone else may have another ideological view of the same issue. But GVL Narasimha Rao, the sense is that the optics of the government were terrible again. To offload an activist under the guise that she is an anti-national is part of the problem. Today it's Priya Pillai, tomorrow it could be me. You will say that I don't agree with Rajdeep Sardesai's views on a particular thing. He is going abroad to do something, and you will say offload him. The worry is that she could be just one example of a sign of things to come. Shouldn't the government be, will this make you a little bit more careful before you decide that so-and-so is anti-national?
No, Rajdeep, I think there is something genuine dissent and paid dissent. I think we don't allow FDI in media, which you represent. 100% media, FDI is not allowed. Why? Because we don't want foreign voice to dictate, to be reflected in our media. Similarly, NGOs being funded by foreign outfits, foreign organizations with their own agenda, I think it smacks of some kind of a conspiracy. And this has been proven in many countries. More than 20 countries in the last 2 years have formulated laws that prohibit foreign funding.
My point is, these are issues which you can debate. Whether you should offload someone from a flight is a question and brand that person anti-national. Are you therefore, after today's court verdict, one last time, going to say to Priya Pillai, sorry for the embarrassment? Are you going to say it or not?
No, I think government needs to really, you see, the agencies which actually have handled this matter need to review the verdict today, certainly, and before making any kind of such restrictions, one needs to be sure that you are on the right side of law, and if required, make requisite provisions.
That's almost as far as I could get you to almost apologize to Priya Pillai, but I know, Priya Pillai, you've got relief. And that's a good sign, because in a democracy, we want dissent. Hopefully the dissent will be healthy, and you too will be ready for a complete questioning of your worldview on these policies. Priya Pillai, GVL Narasimha Rao, in the spirit of healthy democracy, thank you both for joining us here on the News Today at 9.